everybody, to this episode of Strong Perspective Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Keith Armstrong, along with
Damon Armstrong.
Jaquari Armstrong. May or may not be joining us tonight because there was a miscommunication. Because I thought that I would be on the road and I was going to cancel it for this week. But I also put in the message, if you guys wanted to come on, Damon, let me know. But I'm gonna chalk it up to miscommunication because he ain't never
There
called me.
you go. There you go. We leave it like that, bro.
That's what it is.
But we about to be together. We about to be on here.
And plus, I ain't upset. You know what I'm saying? I
Man,
just think that consistency consistency is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like
I can dig it.
I
What?
could have easily not did it. You know, because it would have been a more. I'm preparing to do some things. Travel. So, but like I
What time?
said,
What time you getting down?
sometime in the morning. But consistency is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
hmm Put that in the memo, man. Make sure everybody get it. So ain't no excuse.
Yeah. Um,
Consistency.
that's it. I think that's where we fall short. No, I was gonna say we fall short of consistency. I think the direction that we point our consistency uh, towards kind of gets in the way of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like if I want to gain wealth, right, and I'm working hard, that's consistent. But if I'm
hmm
also at the same time consistently spending above my means, that's basically spinning your wheels. You know what I'm saying? I think it's good when you find out where to point your consistency, points your energy, and it don't have to be forever, but it has to be a period of time in which you move the needle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm following you. You know, sometimes brothers be procrastinating. You know,
Yeah, I'm one of
but
those.
I think that's hereditary, bro. Procrastination, or it's just
As
a
human
normal
beings,
thing for everybody.
that's why I said procrastination as human beings. I think
hmm
some of us have a little bit more than others, but I think it's in all of us, to be honest with you.
It is. Well, I can agree with that. You know, I'm hoping my man wasn't out and about. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think about that until you said something.
I sent him the message that if he's out and about, don't even worry
Oh, you
about it.
just did.
Yeah. So
Oh, okay.
you know,
So I guess it might just be me and you then, brother. How was your day?
my day was good, man. I got
Yeah.
things done that I needed to get done.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because I'm easy. I'm easy. I am very easy when it comes to that. You know what I mean? Because I think being an overthinker, I wake up with checklist anyway. So
Hmm. What they call that? What they call that? OCDC? What do we call that? It's not OCD. Is it OCDC?
no OCD. That's it.
Might be suffering from a little bit of that, bro.
No, no, hell
Oh,
no, hell
shit.
no. You know what I mean? 'Cause, hey, look, let me tell you something. I like being busy. I stay on my grind when it's small, medium, or large grind because with me it varies. My grind varies. You feel what I'm saying? Because
Hey.
my grind decreases when it comes to my family, helping them out to help them move forward.
Mm-hmm.
Feel what I'm saying? But when it comes to my individual efforts, right, it increases. I've learned that being an overthinker, I learned to do it that way for anxiety's sake. You know what I mean? You know,
Mhm.
people want to be on 10. You know what it is?
I'm listening.
The problem, I feel the problem with things is always got to be a debate. There's always have to be a debate with everything in our entertainment, in our everyday life, in our relationships. There's a debate, right? Of course, you're going to have a debate when it comes to like individualized, say you and your mate,
Hmm.
and you guys are trying to hammer shit out, hammer your relationship out, do things like that, right? And also, if you're related to a job, when it comes to your job, it's also a debate trying to get things, together.
What up,
So,
bro?
Yeah.
hey,
What's
hey,
going on, man?
hey, that was Damon Cole, man. I look,
Oh wow, that was me. I
yeah,
want to see
well,
my
that don't,
brothers, man. So guilty as charged, bro.
What happened?
but Jabbar, in all fairness, I thought you was gonna give me a call if you wanted to. At the end of the statement, I said, "Hey, let me know if you want to go on solo, dolo." And you
I ain't
ended
never
it.
told you. I ain't never told you I want to go on solo
You faded in and
Can't hear
out.
you,
I
bro.
can't hear you, bro.
before. I said I ain't never told you I want to go on solo before.
No, no,
Man,
I'm
you did it
saying.
before.
Oh, listen.
No, it's
What I
cool.
want, no, no. What I wanted you to do is just hit me back. That's all. And I should have reached out to you and Damon. Damon, he found out because he called me. You know what I'm saying? He called
What
me.
happened? Yeah, what happened is that I found my phone and then I saw the message and then I called him and I was like, whoa, what's happening? So that's why I called because I had just seen the message.
Yeah, but look, it's a miscommunication. It definitely was. I mean,
Oh, lay on him what you was doing to me about consistency.
no, no, no.
You gave me
This
the
don't.
business.
No, how? This don't apply. What are you talking about?
I'm just talking shit.
That was miscommunication. Period. I was just speaking on. How was your day, Jaquari? We already said.
Yeah, how was your day, bro?
It was cool, man. Nothing uneventful happened. Everything was everything. Can y'all hear
You
me good?
now you going in and out, man. I don't.
Hold on.
I don't. Uh, but like I
No,
said,
yeah, bro. Don't be like me.
but like I said, the reason why I even said consistency is because there's always a fight, and it's individually. I understand there's a debate, there's a fight because
I got what you were saying, bro.
you got to hammer it out. Well, I'm
I,
doing this. I'm doing this for other people because I know you
oh,
understand.
okay.
And what it is, it's a slight rant. In the simple fact that most people feel that they have to be on opposite sides of things. Even when it comes to,
You think that's most people, man? Really?
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Even though I think that we want to be a part of the crowd, we want to go forward. I think it's
I
mostly
think,
I think it's mostly in our community. To be honest with
I think, I think, most people try to avoid confrontation, bro. Real
you. Well, I
talk.
mean,
I think a lot of people go out their way to avoid confrontation.
okay, that's a good point. But they can think it, but they may not say
Well,
nothing.
it requires effort, man. To bypass all that.
And they can think it. Say you go to work. right? And it's some people who are extroverts and they want to get the job done, but you looking at him sideways like he think he's special. You thinking this stuff. He think he's special. Look at his loud ass. Here he go again. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm.
we've all done it. We've all thought it, right? But it comes down to our home training. What kind of people we want to be perceived to be. You know what I'm saying? That is all my opinion about it. You know, you gotta think about it. Like I get frustrated. I get frustrated when, and I understand when it comes from our community how we are so far to the left on stuff, or so far to the right, and there's no in between. I mean, say if somebody get on and talk about law enforcement, right? And they swing to the left and they talk about black policemen. Oh, they ain't nothing but sellouts. They selling our community. You know what I mean? Look at them. They just coming in our neighborhoods and oppressing their own people, right?
Do
And
you think, man, people?
you're not giving a even-handed view of it. Now I can
Let me ask you a
understand.
question, bro. I know you don't use. I know. I don't mean to cut you off, man. But let me ask you a question, man. Do you think everybody feel like the way? Because there are a lot of people out there that got law enforcement in their family, man.
No, no,
Everybody
no.
don't. Everybody don't think that.
I'm
You know
not
what I'm
saying
saying?
that. I wasn't saying everybody, but what I was doing was giving an example of how people can swing to the left and to the right and just give that hard view, even though in their mind a lot some of the stuff they're saying is garbage, but they want to be right.
Well, you got some people out there want to be controversial, man. Be on some bullshit, bro.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
I mean, that's not to say, man, that you don't respect everybody's opinion because people have their opinions, man. But if you're gonna go, but you said you described people going all the way left. That's somebody that want to be. That's somebody that wants to be argumentative, man.
I
You know what
mean,
I'm saying? Especially,
now, right?
hmm?
Aren't we living it now politically? Aren't we living that now? Either
I
far to
think
the
a
left.
lot of people. I think a lot of people is paying attention, but you know they're paying attention, but they're concerned whether how is this going to affect my life moving forward? What am I going to do? Because the bottom line is you have to deal with shit individually before you can have a broad scope of how everybody's being affected. You know, I unless I am paying attention, and most times I'm not, but when I'm paying attention, I might see something, man, that I totally disagree with, and I have a choice. I'm saying I have a choice whether or not I want to deal with it or whatever. You know, let it bother me. Because if you allow all the things that's going on around us, especially now in this country, that shit is overwhelming, man. And there's no way you're going to be able to, deal with all that, have an opinion about it, and plus, have a normal life. Ain't no way in the hell you're going to be able to do that, man. Because every day is something different.
Yeah, I mean, people try. People still try it though.
I spend time with my grandbaby today. I spent time with her today. I made sure for that 2 hours block of time, I wasn't gonna be thinking about nothing but watching her development, her grow, laugh, having fun. You know what I'm saying? Communicating, and that was easy for me to do. You know, that was easy for me to do. So, man, you don't have to be engaged with the bullshit, man, 24 hours a day.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, but the thing about it is and I'm honestly saying that you are more grounded in how you feel about life. A lot of people, and I'm not saying everybody, a lot of people are insecure on how they see life, in my opinion.
I get it. I'm hearing you, but hey, personally, it's all about self-preservation. You know what I'm saying?
But
Peace of mind.
you hammered that down, and you found your comfort zone. You
A
feel
lot of
me?
people, a lot of people complain about things they've never experienced, though, man. I mean, you think about the number of people
That's true
Good
too.
point.
who
Good
you
good
think
point.
about you think about the number of people who who swear up and down they'll whoop ass all day, but have never been in a fight,
Never been in a fight. Yeah.
never been in a fight. So they have no practical application as to how a fight goes. Same with politics. I mean, people will always, especially nowadays, they always want to land on this, on the side of right, no matter what their real opinion is. That's why a lot of us, when Obama was elected, was kind of disheartened with our other friends because they wasn't fucking with him, which was their right.
Yeah.
That was their right. It was just too bad that uh, political lines were severed and everything fell down to race.
Yeah.
You know,
But that was accepted though, wasn't it, man? You
yeah.
knew it.
But wasn't
I
that politic? I'm sorry, bro. Go ahead.
I I say this: when you got people who basically, prior to President Obama being elected, who basically had a hand in throwing this country to the point of bankruptcy, right? And when he went into office, they ignored where they were complicit. Now I'm speaking in general terms, but you can look this up and said, "Hey, we're going to make sure," because what did they do? They circled the wagons on White Hood, and here's the thing: I'm not. That's what it was. They disguised it as being Republicans and conservatives, but that's what it is. Oh, we're going to make him. These are Congress leaders. We're going to make him a one term. We're going to do everything we can to make him a one-term president, right?
now
Even
if
though he inherited all that bullshit.
yeah, now I brought him up in particular because had certain factions not made it a race thing, it would have been a legitimate goddamn political political competition. I mean, nobody really understood, policy during that time. It was a controversy. It's all, recently it's always been a controversy. How many, years prior to this has the American public been privy to everybody's in Congress's goddamn criminal records? Even if they are public record, they never talked about that shit.
You know why? Because they were considered elite status because it was open secrets with the boys, the boy escorts, the wild parties on Capitol Hill, all of that. You know what I'm
Yeah, but
saying?
there's scandal on both sides of the aisle, though, bro. Is my point.
But that's why I said Capitol Hill. You know what I'm saying? I understand that. I think what I think, and like I said, I'm not gonna get too political about it. What I think is this: um, when is when is when you come down to the brass tacks of things, right? When you come down to it, President Obama could have ran again against Trump if he wanted to, and he probably would have won, right? But what he did was follow the rules. No president ran for re-election after FDR because they changed the rule. They changed the rule because before you could be in as long as you've been voted in. But in his, because he turned the country around, he did all these different things, right? The American people kept voting him in. But when he passed away, and Truman was not a well-liked man, even though he won 2 terms. Did Truman win 2 terms or just one? No, he only won 1 term. Eisenhower did. But the thing about it was he wasn't liked. So what did the opposite party? I don't know if it was Republicans. I believe it's Republicans. Well, whatever they did, they said, "Hey, wait a minute. FDR was in here for what, 4 terms, 3 to 4 terms." I'm a little rusty. I remember this shit. They was like, "No, we're not going to do that anymore." You know what I'm saying? So it's funny how if you're not careful, people will bend the current towards them, where they get the bulk of the water. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what they ended up doing, they circled the wagon. This is why Donald Trump is in, because Donald Trump spoke straight, even though during this whole time and now don't make sense in what he says, but they pretend to not hear what he says, because what he helped people to do, whether you think is a race thing or not, what he helped middle white America do was circle the wagon. It's us against them.
Yeah, but he circled the wagons and pointed the rifles toward the middle. You know what I mean? But I mean,
but they don't know that though. They don't know they voted against their self-interest.
All in all, though, man, I hate to say it, but maybe if I say it, it'll manifest. This country probably needed Donald Trump, man, and all this vitriol. It did. It really did, man, because it started movement in places. It started.
Okay, so this country needed Donald Trump and those too. Those 30,000 people got laid off, man. Do you think people?
This country needed the presence of oppression. It's not going to be like this. We as a people will not stand for the things that this man is trying to.
I believe that. I believe that. Remember, he was already president once, man. You know what I'm saying? And he was coming with all that. Now he's dealing with politics. Now he's dealing with the government stuff or whatever. But the first time he was on that white supremacy stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? So we already had a dose of what he is. You know what I'm saying? What he represent. You know, I think, and one of you guys said that he got in there because of white supremacy, because white people were being tribal. He got in there because a lot of people stayed home, man. They stayed on the couch. That's how he got his ass in. Who
stayed on the couch?
A lot of people stayed on the couch, man.
Like who are you talking about?
Black, white. In my opinion, man, a lot of black, because people are discouraged with the Democratic Party, man. I can't even tell you. Both of you guys, I can't even tell y'all the last Democratic president that I voted for that I felt good about was Obama, and that's because he was a black man. You know what I'm saying? But man, you'd be surprised how many times I did not vote for the Democratic Party, man, in terms of the presidency and stuff.
You see, here's the thing: the Republican Party and the Democratic Party, right? They conduct smear tactics. And the reason why the Republican Party wins is because they smell like money to everyone. It's the money party.
No. there's a lot of disillusioned people out there because the Republican Party always shit on poor people. So
Okay.
that's
why
kind of
would you be-
difficult to.
Why would you be disillusioned with the Democratic Party? If you know
Democratic Party ain't got no backbone, man, and plus they don't know how to message, bro.
All right.
They don't know how to message. Now, think about this. Think about this for a minute. A lie can travel further than the truth nowadays. If it's repeated enough times. I mean, think about some of these things that the American people, the American public believe, bro.
Okay, so
You know what I'm saying? Think about some of the stuff that they believe.
who's lying?
They both lying.
Okay.
But wouldn't it be? Go ahead.
No, I get what you're saying, but I don't understand. If you know both parties are lying, why would you be disillusioned with? Because here's in a nutshell, just like cookie cutter shit. Republican Party is about money, making people feel like they're gonna make them money, right? And it's not necessarily true. The only money in the Republican Party, the majority of it, right? The majority of the money are CEOs, billionaires who call themselves Republicans, right? The Democratic Party is supposed to be the party for the people. But the thing about it is, you get voted in, but then you don't have the House. Then you don't have Congress. So you have to, if you really look at the whole thing, when we had Democratic president, it was Clinton. And Clinton was able to do whatever in the hell he wanted to do.
That's because he's a centrist, man. You know what I'm saying? And he pandered to the far right. He pandered to him. So
he did, but he had the majority.
How many brothers he lock up, man? How many brothers did he lock up?
Don't bring that into this, man. I'm telling you what I'm talking about. The movement. Democrats are never able to do anything because the Republican Party will either have the Congress or the House. And when under Reagan, they had both.
Well, Obama had both houses.
First term. But guess what they did?
But he had both houses.
Yes. Guess what they did? They did everything they could. They smeared him. They smeared his wife. They threw everything in there. And guess what he did? He had to be non-confrontational because, first of all, he was the president, right? And secondly, they waiting for him to be up in there and scare everybody. If he had, yo, man, fuck y'all.
Man.
They was waiting for him to do that. And guess what he did? He never did. Hell, he barely do the shit now. To be honest.
Listen, man.
But
he said,
go ahead.
He said in the very beginning, I'm not president for the black people, I'm president for everybody. He said that at the very beginning, bro. You know what I'm saying? The bottom line is, whether I was surprised or not, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Everything is powerful, you know, it's powerful, of course, man. I mean, are you really surprised about anything? You know what I'm saying? They are animals I mean, they are truly who they are. They don't deviate from who they are. You know what I'm saying? People have the nerve to say, man, you're going to stay on the couch and we got to accept this, we got to accept that. How many times do you accept something that doesn't agree with you, man? You know what I'm saying? And when, at what point do you find power and strength in that one thing that's supposed to be for everybody that's, you know what I'm saying, that's American? The right to vote. You know what I'm saying? How the hell are you going to be convinced, man, that your vote means anything when people tell you, well, hey, man, vote for the lesser evil? To make that make sense.
If there is a lesser evil to vote for, then you make that choice to do it. That's what they said. They saying they both fucked up. Hey, man, who the less fucked up? Vote for that.
Yeah, but do a person if you're speaking to a brother or sister who found courage in saying, I can't bring myself to vote for any of those people, what's the argument after that? After they make that statement, what's the argument?
It ain't no argument.
Well, don't complain when shit goes soft or if things get fucked up. It's like that anyway.
Okay, so when you do complain, what changes? What changes?
Nothing changes.
Okay, so
and unless you got somebody lobbying for you. You know what I'm saying? You part of the establishment that they're listening to. Then you can see some change. But other than that, you're just like every other person complaining for no reason. Ain't gonna change shit.
Look, if you understand.
So why not say? So why not say I'm gonna step away, man, because I don't understand this shit. I don't agree with it. So forth.
Okay. Look, this is what I'm saying to you, Danny. Because you are really and truly making great points. Right? And what I mean by that is you saying that, hey, people have their opinions and they have the right to be who they want to be. But
yeah, especially if they get disillusioned and decide they're gonna step back.
So when people step back, what should they do? And then I want you guys to answer this, and then we're gonna move on to the next subject because I did not want to do this political bullshit right now. And I'm calling it bullshit because I'm frustrated more than anything. Because I understand the game. I understand the game of politics. You know what I'm saying? So when you step back, Damon, I'm just gonna use what you just said.
Okay, I'm listening.
When you step back, what should you do when you step back?
You vote down ticket, your local government. What matters to you in the first place? What really affects your life? You know what I'm saying? Hell, how long have you had to wait for the government to send you something in the mail? You know what I'm saying? But when you're dealing with local shit, they at your doorstep. So when I step back, I'm voting down ticket.
Okay. Jafar, what about yourself?
I don't have an opinion, man.
Okay. I think you have something, Damon, that if you make the choice to step back, and even if you don't step back, the majority of your effort should be an individualized effort, meaning controlling the things around you. You're talking about local voting and doing all that you have control over that.
Absolutely.
And you vote for your best interest. I mean, that's it. Because like I said,
right.
I understand the monster, the political monster. I understand it. So I get frustrated when, not you guys, but I get frustrated when I run into somebody who tries to make it make sense when it's not even designed to make sense.
Well, isn't taking a step back and voting down ticket in your region and all that, doesn't that make sense?
Yeah, well, what's your point? I'm just saying.
What I'm saying is, just because you choose to make this decision doesn't mean that you don't do the things that affect your life, man. You know what I'm saying? It could be something as simple as being able to have a car that you're working on in your yard, and the municipality says you can't have junk cars in your yard. That affects you because that requires, you can get fined for it or whatever. That affects you, you know what I'm saying, in real time. as you know what I'm saying? When you think about governmental situation, whatever, vote for president and senators and Congress, whatever, that shit, man, they start 2 years out before they start, they start polling and pressing the flesh and all that stuff 2 years out before the election even happens, man. So you have time to weigh out how important that shit is. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to your city government and municipalities and your state and all that.
Okay.
So if I chose me personally, if I chose not to vote for the president, you know what I'm saying, I didn't feel bad about it because I knew I was taking care of home. And I'm not finna get in an argument with some clown talking about if you ain't vote, you ain't got nothing to say. Come to my neighborhood, come to my district or whatever. I have plenty to say. But if you want to talk about that national stuff, hell, when one election is over, 2 weeks later, another one starts. So it's all purgatory as far as I'm concerned.
I got it, man. We're gonna move on. Good points, Damon. You know, I think a lot of times we just gotta, you know, grab control of our life. Even though you don't want to, you gotta grab control of it. So I've been doing a lot of reflecting. You know what I'm saying? Not because things is down, but because I'm here. I'm able to complain. I'm able to be jubilant. I'm able to see. I'm able to speak. I am here. I am here at this moment. I am here to see this moment. So let me ask you guys, when you were children, what was the one thing that you said you were going to do when you grew up? And did you get it done?
And for me, it was college, man. It was when I went back when I went back the third time, it wasn't as hard as I made it out to be the first couple of times, and it was just very important, man. It was a personal goal, and it was like one of the last legit personal goals, man, that I really really worked hard every day for. It's been a long time since I had something like that in my life, and now that I don't have it, uh, going to work and everything, and concentrating on a thing and championing, cheerleading for that thing, above all else, even though all the other shit needs to get done too. But this one thing is the thing that I'm going to goddamn accomplish.
Right.
That don't it might work for those 8 hours, but it don't feed you. I mean, it can't sustain the creative soul. It can't. Problem solving and creativity, they go hand in hand, but they can be two totally different things.
Take you into
So
the opposite.
What happened?
I said they take you to two opposite directions sometimes.
Well, sometimes, yeah. I mean, but a lot of times, especially during the periods of your periods of creativity, man. Problem solving. is, it could be the root of the thing. You
Yeah.
know, I want this aesthetic, this particular aesthetic or whatever, but there's really no way to achieve it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna try shit, and
Mm.
that's basically like, that's an example. That's what Orson Welles did when he did what was the movie with Rosebud in it?
Rosebud, right? I know what you're talking about.
Uh,
Citizen.
Citizen Citizen Kane. Citizen Kane was his
Citizen
first live.
Kane.
Yeah, that was his first live action movie, right? And well, the first one he directed. He didn't know that a lot of shit that he did in that movie theoretically wasn't possible. He worked with the cameraman, the main cameraman, and just started doing shit, and
He
fucking
had a
won an
vision.
Oscar, and won an Oscar. But that same scenario, man, if he would have had people telling him that he couldn't do it, probably never would have happened.
Sometimes when you
That
listen to people too much, yeah, you get stopped.
Yeah, but that's that spark I was talking about. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Damon, what about yourself? What when you were young, was it something that you told yourself you wanted to do when you grew up, and did you do it?
Yeah, I did, and by the grace of God, it worked out for me. And this is what I mean. When I was a kid, you know how you. Excuse me for a minute. When you a kid, man, you know how you rebellious and shit. And you tell yourself, man, when I have kids, I'm gonna be different. You know what I'm saying? And you create this imaginary world in your head about this is what I'm gonna do. This is gonna be slightly different from how I was raised, but you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do it my own personal way. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do it my own personal way. Not knowing that you think you're doing it different, but you're incorporating what you experience and what you learn from your parents, and you interjecting that into your mindset or whatever. You just kept, you just refining the situation. And for me, that's exactly what it was, man. I wanted to go to college, man, and all that stuff, but that was because somebody convinced me that's what I had to do. You know what I'm saying? But on a personal level, thinking about how am I going to be when I'm in my 30s or 40s and my kids are going to school and I'm interacting with them? How am I going to interact with them? How am I going to, you know what I'm saying, do it? Am I going to find my own path in raising my kids? Is this going to be something, man, that they take from their experience growing up with me that they're going to incorporate in their kids' life? That's what I thought about, because I felt like, as far off and as distant as it was, I felt like that was something that I had some control over. If I did, like you said, Jacoy, go to college, educate myself, get a good job, be able to buy a house, be able to stack money, have a savings account, build on some shit, right? Being able to simply afford having kids. You know what I'm saying? It's something that you have to think about. You have to use your imagination in order to what do you say, turn a bad situation into something that's workable, that you can deal with, that you can be consistent with. So yeah, at a young age, I thought like that because there were a lot of things that I didn't agree with. You know what I'm saying? In my own personal understanding of how I was trying to understand the world. There's a lot of things I didn't agree with, and I asked myself, how do I address it? What would I do different? So that's how I always thought. So as a kid, yeah, I was in that mindset.
Gotcha. So my reasoning and understanding of the question was, it was several things. When I grew up, I said when I grow up, I'm gonna have a freezer full of food and a refrigerator full of food. Right? Simple thing. When I grow up, I'm gonna have every kind of clothes that I want. When I grow up, I'm going to have a job and be consistent working that job, whether it was basketball, whether it was a regular 9 to 5, no entertainment job. And it's funny, the examples I just gave you, they're very simple. And I think as I was going along, when it came to the food in the freezer, refrigerator, because I was a greedy child. Meaning, I wanted the abundance. You know, we ate. You know, usually we had fried. Everybody got not necessarily the biggest piece of chicken, but we got 2 pieces of chicken, 2 pieces of pork chop, right? But you know, I'm 6'9", Ja'Cory 6'8", Damon, you 6'5", right? So we were some hungry ass kids. You know what I'm saying? So I simplified things, and it was step by step. I didn't do it on purpose. That was just me understanding how easy I was to please, because I understood my intelligence. So each time that I accomplished that small thing, my confidence grew. It grew, understanding that I go through that checklist. Bing, bing, bing. That's my checklist. Like, oh, okay. You know, used to when I'm in my 20s and working, I would just go and tell me if I did this, go and just open the refrigerator and look in that motherfucker. Didn't want nothing, just look up in there. Because my goal was to live in abundance for me, for my family, right? My problem was 2 things. I was too easy. It was too easy for me. And secondly, I didn't have a plan to sustain it.
Yeah, my issue was, man, you know, once I attained, you know, my immediate wants and needs and shit, then they no longer interested.
Yeah. I see that, and that's true. I can say that. I can honestly say that, man, because see, I'm the same exact way. But see,
He went
the
out. I didn't hear what he said.
can you hear me now?
Yeah, I ain't hear what he said because he went. You know, he went out, and I hear you elaborating on it. I'm like, damn, what did he say?
Go ahead and repeat it, Ja'Cory.
Now I said my problem was once I achieved my immediate wants, I was no longer interested in it.
Oh, okay.
I would get the shiny, you know, train and have it and look at it and put it down and move on to the next thing. So
This was in terms of success.
just I mean just the shit that I, you know, that as a child, you know, I may have wanted or whatever, and really didn't have the means or resources to achieve it. Once I was able to achieve it, you know, I had it, and you know, I tell a couple of motherfuckers, hey, yeah, I got this, and put it down in the corner and move on to the next thing.
Hmm.
I think me personally, I'm along them same lines, right? But you get to the point where that's why I said the plan was always the biggest thing, not having it. Because when you have a plan, you understand that having a plan meaning that your success has to be sustained. So not having a plan, once I achieved it, I stopped. And I went into a holding pattern until I needed to keep it going. But guess what you're doing when you slow up or you stop, you got to build momentum again. You have to build momentum going back to that. Like, I'm happy that all my bills are paid. But I'm upset because I don't have the surplus that my appetite requires.
Right.
That's just goddamn consumerism, though, man. I mean, it's
Is it consumerism required? Because
yeah.
I think that's a personal thing, because being human beings, we do have a certain amount of, is it greed or hunger that comes
See,
with it?
I was gonna bring up hunger, man. I mean, people tell you. I mean, and what you mentioned before that is the main reason people say, you need to stay hungry, man, because as soon as you become satisfied and complacent, people call that a rut. But rarely have I known a man who achieved a thing and took the time to properly enjoy it.
What if?
And it's got a shelf life. Everything's got a shelf life.
But what if you have an awareness of that, bro, and you try to be consistent with it?
Well, that is the awareness of it, the enjoyment of it, and then understanding that even though this satisfies me, if I lay on this, then I'm going to be stagnant, and I'm going to be depressed, and I'm going to be disjointed because I'm not happy because I've dug this hole for myself and poured all the dirt in because it's comfortable.
Okay.
I think the thing that was most important to me, man, is that when you think about your life, man, and you're honest with yourself, you have more wins than you have failures, man. You know what I'm saying? But it's about your mindset. Is it coming in abundance, like y'all talked about? Am I consistent with it and all that stuff? For me, that's what my mind was. You know what I'm saying? I know if I put my mind to something, I can always achieve it. But do I have the consistency? Does being complacent come into play? Just because I achieved it, But if you enjoy it, don't you want to make sure that that's something that's always in place? If you choose to deal with it, okay. Let me go over here and take this trip. You know what I'm saying? Because I prepared myself for it. Or is taking that one trip, that's enough. I did that, so let me find some other endeavors.
I mean, how do you address it when that one trip becomes the standard, though? When I'm going to Cozumel, this year, and then I'm going to Cozumel next year, and eventually I'm going to buy a timeshare in freaking Cozumel, and I'm there all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Does Cozumel still have its luster?
If you want to live there, yeah.
Yeah, if you put that much work into it, that's a lot, bro.
Live there.
Yeah. That's real commitment.
I mean, because what you did was increase your appetite for a certain thing.
Buy a house up in your dream place. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, yeah, it was your dream place when you first got there. But what does it take to make it remain your dream place?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess that's individualized, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I get it. I got thrown off because you said you bought a house there, and then then the next thing you said was it lost the luster. I was like, wait a minute, man. You spending
I mean,
Right.
because I mean, you buy the house and you there for a minute, but then you get tired of Cozumel and
so what after
you
you
see,
bought the house,
yeah,
it lose luster. I got you now.
yeah.
I got
Yeah, and you go there, you take trips there, spend time there, and eventually, you become like a local, and you grow tired of it. It's
Yeah,
like
until it
it's,
become.
it's like it's like cell phones, man. When only a few people had cell phones and you didn't have a cell phone, you wanted a goddamn cell phone. Then you got one, and it was a luxury to you. Cell phones aren't luxuries anymore.
Yeah, but that home you purchase, that become a property that you can rent out. That's income.
Yeah. Well,
You know what I'm saying? There's levels to that.
if you're one of the lucky few who can get out there and hustle that income up, you got to worry about the fucking overhead. You got to worry about damage. You got to worry about fucking cartels, all that shit, man. Come on, man. It's more problems, more money, more goddamn problems.
you. Yeah, I mean,
I'm following you.
yeah. But look, let me tell you something. If you spend, and I'm joking when I say this, but if you spend $1,500 for $1,500 for a 10-room villa, you know what I'm saying? And the overhead ain't gonna be shit because all you got to do is pay. All you got is look. Like I said, I'm joking
You said
because
$1,500.
you got to understand. I know people who are retiring and going to. I'm trying to think. A couple places in South America. They got retirement communities down there. In Thailand, they got retirement
Oh
communities,
yeah.
and the actual dollar goes mega miles. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was joking about the $1,500. I don't know how much, but the point is the cost of living, and then you're eating real food. You ain't eating nothing processed, so you're adding 10 years to your life. Is that you can't drink the water because you're getting rid of all the good food that you ate. No, I'm joking.
It's a major upside to it, ain't it?
Hey, look,
But I understand what you're saying, though, Jacory.
yeah, I mean, yeah,
I
when I get
understand where you're coming from with it, bro.
when you said you lose the luster after you buy the house, I get that. I get that because being a homeowner, all three of us know, being a homeowner is a big ass responsibility.
Yeah.
Then look, you in the Virginia area too, Jaquari. So your property tax is monster.
Man, it's a bitch. I'm like, man, shit, I shit. You know, I was about to say I sleep on the couch, but I ain't having my wife sleeping on the goddamn couch. I mean, but it's like, and then
Yeah, man.
people with rental property, man. You talk about some mavericks. You taking a chance with that shit. You are
You
taking
are.
a chance with it.
A lot of people got patience for that, bro. But at the end of it, man, because they got a routine down, because they got a system, it works for them. You know what I'm
I tell
saying?
you what. But then if you got an Airbnb in hot spots, beaches, different places, you know what I'm saying? And you get lucky with getting the right people in there. You know what I mean? Like me personally, I would not, when it comes to entertainers, I would not, I would exclude them from my Airbnb. You want to know
Yeah.
why? And this is stereotypical, but they're more destructive than regular people, man. They don't appreciate the stuff that they're in because they feel like they can buy it anyway. So they do whatever the hell they want. You know what I'm saying? But like I
Well,
say, that's stereotypical. No,
if it don't hold no sentimental value, then hey, they can go ahead and do what they do, and I can sue their ass.
yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, let me ask this. A little bit of trivia, man. It's this cat. on Facebook. I know he's on all different things. He's from Pittsburgh. A little younger. I think he's in his maybe late 30s, early 40s, something around that time, right? And he's a filmmaker. He does documentaries, and I believe he makes movies too. You know what I'm saying? His name is James C. White, right? I was
James C. White.
Yeah, I was surfing through Facebook and I ran across his page. Did you know? And then this is one of the things about it is being 60 years old, knowing a lot of shit, but not knowing nothing. Knowing a lot of stuff, but realize I don't know nothing, right? He said, and this was really and truly refreshing. He said the first medically trained EMS workers,
was from Pittsburgh.
From Pittsburgh.
Yep.
1967. And then the majority of them was black. And they worked in the Hill District. It was predominantly black. That's crazy. I'm talking about ever medically trained, because they had them. The majority of the time, if some say a crime happened, right, the policemen will throw those people into the back of their cars. They still do it in Philly, and drive to the hospital. Right? You got the bar, there's lights and sirens, and people gonna move out your way, so it's a quicker response. You know what I'm saying? But they established the very first, and every man was medically trained before. Medically trained to deal with these folks, man.
That was, you said that was the Hill area?
Yeah, the Hill District.
Yeah, that wasn't nothing but self-preservation, bro.
Yeah, and that's the first thing that popped in my mind, because you got to think about it. The thing about it is they served as the blueprint for the national EMS services. See, this is the stuff that you need to fucking learn in school. You understand? Okay. Instead of not going on a rant, when I'm just saying it simply, instead of getting the garbage, the watered down garbage we was getting in our history class, American history, right? What if we actually got the truth when it came to the black community? Like, perfect example. Everybody was like, this man hit me. I forget who it was, but you know who it was? The economist dude, man. What is his name? Real good brother. I forgot his name, right? He said, why do you think for not knowing your name? But you're famous anyway, so fuck. He said, why do you think there were so many slaves when it came to the cotton, tobacco field, and different fields, right? Why do you think they got so many slaves working that? He said, people always thought that it had to do with the labor. But what it really had to do with, the simple fact, he said, bringing folks from Africa, or whether they were here already, they knew how to farm. And as a matter of fact, the people who had them captive didn't know how to farm. The slaves were the ones who took care of the actual product. And I was like, man, that's a different angle of looking at things. Because we've always been made to believe that our ancestors to these white people were just livestock, but it was actual farmers. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying, oh, you should be a sense of pride. No, when you have these kind of things in perspective, as a young man, understanding, getting information, you lead your life in a different way.
Farmers, skilled laborers, carpenters, goddamn, what have you. I mean,
by virtue of the fact that when they came out of slavery, when they got emancipated and they just let go, they went and built communities. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it wasn't because nowadays they say stuff as stupid as the positive thing about slavery is that they learn trade. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're saying now.
They were the trade.
Right. Right. So anyway, man, I hear what you're saying. You know, you're right. You know, you definitely have to know your history, man. You know, and they trying to erase it. So
I just think that the reason why I brought it up, those two instances is because, like I said, I know how I am now. And I rebelled against a lot of the things because I was a history guy and it never made sense. A lot of stuff never really made sense. But had I been fed the actual real information, I think it would have been. I would have seen. I love seeing life different from an educated stance. Is basically what I'm saying. You know what I mean? All right. Well, look. I want you guys to give me an opinion. I'm gonna give you a couple different things, and the best way I need you to answer the best way that you feel. What is your idea of life? Let's start with you, Damon.
my idea of life.
Your ideal of life, yes.
I mean, that's a broad question.
It's meant to be broad. What comes to your mind?
On a personal level, it's like the Constitution say, the pursuit of happiness, man.
Okay.
If I'm thinking about my individual self, now in the broader term, it's about people recognizing that they need each other to function in a society. You know what I'm saying? You could be tribal, but respect somebody else who might be just as equally tribal as you. You know what I'm saying? It's about respecting each other. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you have an abundance of resources. Now, if the resources are scarce, that's a whole different problem. But I don't think America suffers from that. If that, if that answers your question, is my point, bro.
I think life is about opportunities, man, and having the wherewithal to recognize them. Once you recognize them, doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to capitalize on them, but the ability to see shit and understand, how something could possibly pan out, in a couple of years. I mean, it's a gift.
Okay.
And it comes with the experience of life.
Okay. When it comes to love, what is your interpretation of love?
Yeah, it's to coincide with my self-worth, man. You know what I'm saying? Do I love myself? Do I love myself enough to have a just life? Who says that has to coincide, it has to come together. People have to fit into that. You know what I'm saying? We have to fit into that because we're all moving in the same and right. As far as I'm concerned, we're moving in the right direction and the same direction.
Okay.
I'm gonna say, man, that love needs to be necessary. It needs to be necessary. Love, you know, real love, you know, it's the motivation for so many things, good and bad.
Okay.
But it's necessary. It's absolutely necessary.
Okay. I
Do
think
y'all think? Do y'all think people love the same, man?
No.
Everybody.
I don't think people love the same because nobody really knows the real definition of love, man.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't think that I don't think that there is a real solid definition of love.
I'm coming to
You know,
Even if it's
realize.
something, even if it's something that you aspire to, man, because you feel it wholeheartedly in your heart.
Look,
Even if that's the case, that you know what, this is what I have a desire and a passion for. This is how I want to be treated.
now,
Is that not knowing?
I've come to realize, man, that in my idea of love, somebody's got to suffer.
I got you. See, and that's the point I'm trying to make to you. In your heart, in your mind, brother Damon, you you have it solidified what's going on. You understand? That you know, you feel in your heart, you know what it is. Jaquari, you feel in your heart, you know what it is. But what I said was there has not really been a real definition of love because one of you guys said it earlier. It has a lot to do with people's interpretation of it. I'm paraphrasing. It has a lot to do with other people's interpretation.
Right.
Just like being in love and loving somebody, which is stronger? Because in my mind, I think they're two different things.
Being in love make you do foolish things, bro.
Now you do foolish things because you panicking. You don't want to lose that feeling. But say if you don't lose that feeling, right? Being in love is a temporary thing. Love kicks in afterwards. When you're being in love with somebody and then eventually loving them. Because
Well,
loving,
here,
hold on, loving them has to do with longevity. Being in love is a temporary thing, my opinion.
well, the irony of your statement, bro, is you said nobody knows, but you definitely had a definition.
What did I just say to you, bro? I said to you that everyone has their different interpretation of it, but there's not a real definitive answer.
Okay.
That's my opinion. That's what I was saying. That's my opinion. I might be wrong, but there's not a definitive. Okay, let me put it like this. And it's oversimplifying when I say this. Sticking your hand in a flame, everybody know that shit gonna burn, right? But do everybody know what the real reaction of being in love is? Is it something that we read? Is it something that we see? What is it?
I think it's an actual experience, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. But that might be
And
sentimental.
yeah, but see, that's what I'm saying. It's your opinion. I'm not debating it. I'm just this is what this is what I see, and you guys is giving
Right.
me what you see. That's all. What's going on, sis? Love you,
What's up, baby?
but um, It's tricky, man. You want to know why? Because I understood a long time ago. Being in love, the feelings are intense as hell. You know what I'm saying? It's intense, but that intensity goes away.
I mean, there's really no set or sound technique to it, man. You know, if you try to protect yourself, you're gonna be viewed as selfish. If you give too much of yourself, you're gonna be looked at as a sucker. I mean, you know, where's the middle ground? You know, that's why I said that my idea of love, you know, somebody's got to suffer, and that's, you know,
Right. When you
one,
done,
one of those somebodies could be me.
okay, Damon, let Jaquari explain that. Somebody got to suffer, and
I
then I
mean,
want you to chime. I want you to chime in after that.
you know, when I was a little kid, man, you know, my idea of relationships, even though I've seen, you know, many examples of what I believe to be healthy relationships, man. You know, I was always the one, you know, catered to. I was always the one being taken care of. I was always the one, who made the decisions and was put on the pedestal and all this and all. You know, it's never been like that. It's never been like that. And thank God, because you know, I wasn't I haven't been self-centered in my marriage. I haven't been self-centered in my relationships. I understood that, you know, love is give and take, but it's not transactional. I don't think it's transactional. I mean, I could give you a good argument as to why it is transactional, but you know, in my heart, you know, the love I have for my wife, for instance, you know, I've never experienced anything like it. So
So the expectation of it is can be transactional, but in reality, that could be that you can stub your toe on that.
yeah, the shit you do because you think it makes that person happy, that's the transactional. I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
But whatever happened to, man, I'm doing this for this person because I choose to do so. That's
That's
really
what
what
I
it is.
that's what I live off of. Bro.
it's
I'm
always
doing this
there.
because that's what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? If it's outside of that, then that's somebody else's, you know,
But
expectation.
what if that person understands that and they have malicious intent?
That person ain't for you.
And what if
I
they
mean,
don't?
that's obvious right
So
there.
so what if you go through doing all of this stuff for this person because you love them and they don't bother to tell you that, you know, they have malicious intent,
Nobody's
And
ever
that's
gonna
right?
look. If
And
you're a
that
taker,
that
you're a taker. You don't give a shit.
that but
that's covert.
that is the paradox of love. How many times have you has a person had to go through that shit and
but
actually learn from it in order, you know, for it not to happen again?
but what about holding out hope,
People
man?
people get people get
I mean
burned all the time.
to have cynicism, man, is
That's not
detrimental to
cynicism.
yourself.
That's not cynicism. That's your idea of love.
Right.
Your idea of love will keep you living
But how?
the same patterns, bro.
Yeah, but how do people always hold out hope for their prince charming and their princesses, man? They write fairy tales about this shit, so people think that love can't be exact, man.
I mean, look, you're supposed to hold out for the right person.
Right.
I whether it's done or not, you know, you got equal parts argument for and arguments against whether or not it works, right? But man, hell yeah, you better be choosy. Even if your man is the most handsome person that you dreamt of, your woman is the most beautiful woman you dreamt of. If her personality is fucking horrible, you will be miserable.
Yeah, and you come to the conclusion that you made a bad choice, man, and you
But
learn from that shit and you
but,
move on.
but if it's the fairy tale, you're not gonna move on, bro.
Yeah, if you still trying to find that same fairy tale, you're gonna look for the same patterns, and
Yeah, but you look,
you're gonna fall victim to the same shit.
but fairy tales are examples, man. They're not your exact life.
Of
You,
course.
you feel what I'm saying? If you're looking for a Prince Charming, you ain't gonna never find them because because your expectations is way up here.
Why wouldn't they be up there, man? And you you have the choice to bring them down. You have the choice to think if they're not realistic, right?
Well, but who affects you the most, man? The person that knows you, the person that you gave your that you open yourself up to. They know you the most. So in heated arguments, in hurtful situations, they're gonna go there. That
Okay.
doesn't mean that doesn't mean that you have to stay there because they took it in that direction. You know what I'm saying? They in that situation, they're dictating yourself, your emotions. They're making you something other than yourself because they didn't respect it.
So if you want to stay, what do? You ignore the malicious intent, the crossword said. What do?
If you want to
In your
stay, then you need to go. If you want to stay in that type of situation, then you need to go see somebody and get your head examined, bro. Because that's what they call that.
It's not fair, man.
Uh
It's not
that's
Damon.
what
Damon, that's not fair. Because people find themselves, a lot of people find themselves in situations trying to, because they've never been taught that, because it's never really been taught. You said it earlier. It's a fairy tale. What we're being fed growing up is the fairy tale. If you don't pay attention to your parents, but you pay attention to the story, you're gonna find yourself in some real, not messed up but uncomfortable positions.
but how do you gain wisdom though, bro?
Oh yeah, you gotta burn your hand.
Through
But see, you gotta
failure.
learn from it too.
Exactly my point.
You gotta learn from it. I think when it comes down to it, when it boils down to everything that where we're trying to do and where we at with things, right? It is it's a sad thing because like when it comes to my sons, my number one teaching tool is love that person that you see in the mirror. Because once you fall in love with
Man,
them or love them, not fall in love. Once you, what's wrong with my connection? You may not always make the right choice for yourself, but you're able to make better choices as you navigate relationships. You know what I'm saying? Because Jaquar, you brought up a great point. We go after, say, we go after the same personality. They might physically look different, but we are attracted to a certain personality. What if the personality that you're attracted to is no good for you? Say you're attracted, without knowing, you're attracted to self-serving, selfish people. You ever? I, I give this example. When I was young, I said, "Man, how do these emotionally needy women find me?" Then when I got older, I was like, "Wait a minute, no, this ain't no movie. I ain't got no beacon. I don't got no beacon. No, that's my ass. That's me inadvertently seeking out that personality. And we do that with our friends also. We do that with our friends too. All right. Next topic. And we'll move on because, like I said, these are more bullet points than anything. When it comes to sports, and this is, I'm gonna be very specific when I say this. When it comes to sports, can sports be used as a teaching tool for adulthood?
A teaching tool for adulthood.
For adulthood.
Absolutely. Yes.
Elaborate for me.
Sports is going to teach you, man. Sports is going to teach you how much you're going to invest in yourself, man. You know what I mean? And that requires you recognizing your weaknesses, your strengths. You know what I'm saying? Your heart, all that. It incorporates a lot of different areas, man, that requires you to look at yourself and say, am I gonna compete? Or I'm gonna just let somebody just run me over? How many times have y'all played, man, and some sucker out there who couldn't even dribble right had all the confidence in the world? You see what I'm saying? But because they talk loud, you know what I'm saying, you don't challenge them. Because they have this false confidence, you don't challenge them, knowing damn well you're more superior than they are. You know, so that's what I mean by, at some point in time, whatever sports that you play, you're gonna find yourself, man. You're gonna find the thing that you fear the most. You know what I'm saying? And that's playing the sport. You're gonna find it. And the people that take on that challenge, man, are the people who's going to be successful in life because they can incorporate that in everyday life. You know what I'm saying? If you choose not to deal with it, then you're going to be complacent. You're going to make excuses. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to meet up to that challenge. And what I mean by challenge, that thing that you experience on the floor, or on the football field, or on the diamond. You know what I'm saying? It's going to hit you one way or another. You know what I'm saying? Be it when you're unprepared, be it when you're tired as hell and you're out of shape. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be questioning what you could have done, you know what I'm saying, better to overcome this challenge. I think that's what it did for me.
Okay. People in the chat, if you have something to offer us, I should have said this earlier. Even if it's a comment, even if it's a topic we talked about earlier, please hit us in the chat and we'll address it. But right now it's sports. It's sports, a teaching tool for adulthood. Ja'Quari.
Yeah, sports taught me, man, that just because you're on the team doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna be coached.
That's true.
I've always been on squads, man. Football, basketball, track, what have you. Always been on squads, man. Where there were 5 guys who had all the attention, or that to me that was the perception. And just being a drone, no matter how successful I was as that drone, just not feeling like I had the same amount of support that other people did, and that wasn't necessarily a them thing. That was a me thing. You know what I mean? I learned a lot from team sports, but I'll preach it, until the day I die, man. Had I been a swimmer or a fucking tennis player, man, I would have been a dog. I mean, team sports, man, it they taught me how to work for the team, understand what the what the overall big picture was, what our goal was as a squad. It helped me to understand that, man. But unfortunately, man, it also taught me how to take one for the team. You know what I mean? And I learned that, you know, once you take one for the team, you're not always gonna get team support. So no matter no
Shit.
matter no matter how important a cog you are to the machine, you know, you can be replaced. You can and will be replaced.
And they remind you of that shit every chance they get, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They do. I mean, but there's no wins and losses in that situation because that's the fucking progress. You can't stay on JV forever. You either got to
It's
shit or
all,
get off the pot.
it's all temporary. It's what it is. It's what we do. Sports is a temporary. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I
I know
think
in that
that's why.
situation, bro. Go ahead, bro.
No, go ahead. What was you gonna say?
Like just to add on to what you said, Jacory, that's what kept me motivated, man. That was the challenge. That's what pushed me to that edge. And it all came out of resentment. You know what I'm saying? Resentment, being rejected, being challenged, somebody to take my spot, that was fuel for me, man. You know what I'm saying? I had control over that. Okay. You're looking for somebody to take my place? Okay. They got to take it from me. You know what I'm saying? And at that point, I don't give a damn about the team. It's about me. Because my goal at that point, now I'm gonna be in the rotation. I got a couple of plays called for me now. You know what I'm saying? And that was always my challenge. You know.
I think when it came to sports, it taught me several things. It showed me what kind of leader that I was. Right? I never believed in that rah rah. No, I believed in winning. I believed in going hard. I believed in cheering my teammates on. But when you throw the extra, I never believed in throwing the extra layer on it. You know what I'm saying? I believe in high school. I believe purple and gold. No, I don't. I believe red. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you everything I have once I'm on this field, when I'm on this court. I'm giving you everything. You want to know why? Because it's how I am built, mentally and physically, is how I'm built. Because I've always felt, and this is the kind of person I was, I had to sleep. I had to get sleep. So I would lose sleep if I didn't give everything that I had. Was it to impress? See, that's the thing. The question that I pose, you're being taught how to work with people. You're being taught that to push for a common goal, right? Even though I don't think it relates when you go into a job situation, but you understand pecking order. You understand achievement, right? But then also, it teaches you politics. Because what did you say earlier, Jaquar? Only 5 people was being catered to. It teaches you politics of life. Now, sports, being on a sports related team is not an end all be all. Like it's not some guru experience. Because sometimes you go into that situation and it's only entertainment for you. Because your life is led by that dog, by that tribe, it's your regular life. You know what I'm saying?
And what you mean by
You know,
competition? You mean competition? The thing that motivates you and drives you, that's what you're talking about, competition. This is what it challenges me and this is what I want to do. I mean,
No, it's not competition, man. What I was referring to was some people play a particular or sports only for pastime and entertainment. The rest of their life, there's a drive. They already have it. They don't need to be taught anything. No,
cause I'm gonna be, for me, bro. When I think about it in retrospect, man, there's never been a time, man, when I did. I'm lying because when I was in high school, I was just learning the process. So people was able to tell me or feed me anything. You know what I'm saying? Until that one game where I said, "Oh shit, I am good," and oh, they do need me. You know what I'm saying? And once I understood that, then it was a growing, it was a learning process for me. And by the time I got to college, I understood that the only way I'm gonna stay in college if I had a mindset that I have to be in the rotation. I have to be one of those people who's making a difference. Like Jacory said, part of the five. You know what I'm saying? I was never confused about that. You know, maybe being so selfish hurt me in this aspect. That whoever came, they was eventually they became a teammate. It all depends on longevity. But there was a challenge. There was something that I had to prove to people in charge that don't put us in the same category. We're in different places, man. You know what I'm saying? This is my focus. This is what I'm concerned about. Long as you call on in the game situation, you call on me at least 6 to 7 times, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So that at least puts you in double figures. And the rest of it, I could do my damn self, defense wise and all that. But I was, I didn't learn that all of us was on a journey and we were supposed to come together. And that happened after I left. You know what I'm saying? My senior year, we won 28 games. After I left, the team that I thought that was the team that I thought that was my second string, they won 32. You know what I'm saying? And went to nationals and all that. So that was my learning process. I was like, these guys did better than me. And I should have, as a team captain, try to figure out how to make it what y'all explaining. You know what I'm saying? But I never did that. I was like, man, look, every year they bringing somebody in here to take my place. So I have to, that's what I was mainly focused on. And contributing year in and year out. If that makes sense.
I mean, I got you. I think that when it comes to digesting where you are and exactly what you're actually getting from what you're doing, a lot of maturity. What is your maturity level? I mean, I've always had. See, what motivated me was my love for everything. I'm not just talking about sports. My love for everything, to see everything fit together like a puzzle. But guess what? Everything don't fit like a puzzle. So what I had to do was resolve in, okay, what am I doing and where am I going? What sense does this make? Because what I left, I have a handle on. I have no regrets. I've learned, even when mistakes was made, I've learned from those mistakes, right? But I was being unrealistic when I thought that I could get a handle on being happy. Because if you do not understand that happiness is work, and sometimes you got to force yourself to be happy, you're going to struggle. It's my opinion.
I mean, but I mean, when in terms of happiness, man, I mean, you know, that's some cosmic shit, man, because so many things have to so many things factor in.
I'll be right back. I gotta make
So many things factor in, man. So many stars got to freaking align, man. You know, for you to have, you know, your idea of freaking happiness. And rarely, you know, rarely does that happen.
That's true. That's true.
You know, I mean, you can be happy with some of the shit that you want. You know, but for the most part, the majority of us, man, you know, if we don't have everything, every box ticked, you know, because that's what the goal is. I'm gonna wake up this morning and I'm gonna tick this box and I'm gonna be happy. We don't tick that box, then we can't, you know, we tell ourselves we can't achieve happiness. It's bullshit.
Right. Exactly. I mean, if you look up the definition of happiness, isn't it that momentary thing, man, that give you joy in that moment? And you're like, wow, man, you know, I'm really loving this. I'm really having a good time. You know what I'm saying? Those are the things, man, that we persevere from, right? Because expectation has to coincide with everybody being, you know what I'm saying, in agreement with each other. You know what I'm saying? If that's not the case, then that's something that you learn from. You say, okay, next time I do it differently. You know what I'm saying? Next time I'll be a little bit more selfish. Next time I have a little bit more awareness of my selfishness. You know what I'm saying? It's all situational, right? And in those situations, you find some things that bring you joy, that make you laugh, something that you remember, experience that you had. You know what I'm saying? It's like, man, you know what? I really had fun last year around this time. That exists, man. And that is part of your experience. Now, from that point, then there's a choice. Do I recognize those things that truly gave me something in the true definition of happiness? Or do I dwell on the things that, you know what, I'm not even going to mess with it because I know what the outcome going to be and I don't like it? You know what I'm saying? That's still a choice, isn't it? You're still making a choice to deal with something that you don't know, that you do know that's not going to give you happiness, or to deal with something that you do know is going to give you happiness. And you have choices. It's not like you just getting shit on all day, every day. It's not like you like slap rock and shit and the world is just caving in on you.
Wowsy, woo, woo.
Right. That character was a motherfucker.
Some people feel that way though, bro.
Man, that's hell, bro.
Oh, it's hell.
That's hell. And you got to ask yourself, is it self-inflicted hell?
Of course, it all is, man. I mean, okay. Some of us are victims. Some of us are just victims because of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And you continue to be a victim. You feel what I'm saying? Even if you fight against it, it's just, you know, what's so messed up about life is sometimes it pours down raining, sometimes it gets sprinkled, and then sometimes you get sunshine. I mean, that's really the fact of it, right? And it's how you react to it. Because I think that's what the
exactly.
thing is, how you react.
If you find yourself in a constant mindset, man, where you're blaming other people because you're not happy, man, you know, as simple as that sounds, that's what the fuck it is. Nobody is responsible for anybody else's happiness. So therefore, you know, for us to read a poem or listen to a song or watch a fucking infomercial and have somebody tell us what the fuck happiness should be, it's insane.
Well, half the times, them infomercial that had got to do with narcotics. But go ahead and finish your quiet. You know what I'm
they,
saying?
they have too too many side effects for me, man.
Yeah,
I don't
narcotics.
listen to it.
Yeah. As long as that shit don't have you with that give you that anal seepage and shit.
Damn.
I heard that. I'm like, and that shit was it was some medicine they was advertising for your eyesight and shit. May cause anal seepage. Like for real?
That shit covered a whole lot of ground from your eyes to your damn ass, huh?
Yeah. This is some horrible shit. I don't want that. I mean, I'll be sick.
Right.
I just stay sick. Fuck it.
Look,
What would you say? You know what? I've been doing all right on my own, man.
Yeah, I don't need to be. I don't need to be.
I think I'm gonna pass on that one.
I don't need to be at the liquor store and just be ass leaking all over the place.
sneezing,
Oh,
shit.
man.
You're like, oh Lord, let me get out of here. Oh,
I was at a bar once, and the table across from me or whatever. This lady, she was grinding on this dude's lap or whatever. She sneezed and just shit all on his lap.
wow.
Damn.
Oh man, oh, it's the nastiest, funniest shit I've ever seen in my life. He wanted to fight.
Hell,
Okay.
I don't know, Spo. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if I could have went straight.
Huh?
Go ahead.
I said I don't know if I could have went straight to one to fight to like bewilderment. Man, what the fuck is happening to me, man?
he stood up. She fell on the floor. And there's this old head behind her. He said, "You better not touch her, goddammit."
Damn.
He like, "I'm gonna do something to her." I'm like, no, no, you ain't.
Up on the screen, Daphne Rice says that part. I just published a book entitled Blind in Love. Experience that journey has made me realize my happiness and a clear understanding of what's the difference of being in love, falling in love, and being
All
blind.
right, sis. Congratulations on the
Congratulations.
book.
Hey, give us give the folks where you can get it from. We can put it up on the screen. We're gonna immortalize it, baby.
Put the website up there.
Okay, Carson. Jaquar. Last topic of the day.
You trying to little boy me, man? What's going on?
That's habit, man. Hey, what Mama used to do? Hey,
I got
Fuki Jaquari, Keith, Kenny, Essie, you over there.
You the only one in the room.
I inherited that. I
Yeah.
inherited that from my mom. Hey, Daphne, where can the folks find it? We're gonna put it on the screen. Last topic, and real quick. And this is going the other way. The NBA finals.
Love it.
I
I'm
think
gonna get me a jersey, fellas. Win or lose, Halliburton, I'm getting that jersey, bro.
the book is on Amazon and Kindle, folks. Go check it out. Daphne Rice. The name of the book is Blind in Love.
Blind in Love.
All right, well, I'm gonna show you some love, sis. We got you. I don't know. I've never been this kind of guy, man. But I'm not enthusiastic about the NBA playoffs. Mostly because I've been spoiled. I'm the last of the baby boomers. Jaquari and Damon, you what, Gen Z or Gen X? Gen X, right? Whatever that means. But my point I'm making is I remember there were must-see players. It's not about the sports, Jaquari. It's just must-be players, right?
Mhm.
that we was gonna see in the finals. My first experience was Dr. J against Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Nope, I take that back. Against Bill Walton and the Portland Trailblazers. Right? Then following that, it was Dr. J, Magic Johnson, Kareem. You know what I'm saying? It was a succession of things. And then my favorite player, when my favorite player was in Houston, Moses Malone, I had to see him because I love this work ethic. I love Moses Malone's work ethic. Then he went to the Sixers. I was like, shit, I'm a Sixer now. Right? But then in between them, we had Magic and Bird, you know what I'm saying? And then you know, us from the crib, we had the Pistons, you know what I'm saying? We saw them build, you know what I mean? Look, I was suffering through Kevin Porter and Dave Bing and Bob Lemire. That's how far I go back. You know what I mean? When ML Carr was a Piston. You feel me?
What's my man name? Big dude. Artist Gilmore.
Was he on the Pistons?
He is a Piston. He is a Piston too.
I don't even remember that. But like I said, this is the first year that whether or not you're a LeBron fan or not, you either saw him against Steph Curry, you know what I'm saying? Kevin Durant was in the mix. There was must-see guys in the final. Like, you know, and I must be spoiled. And I'm showing my immaturity when it comes. Not that I hate on the current guys in there, SGA, Halliburton, being clutch as hell in this whole playoff.
Oh man, that boy the truth, man.
Here's my question: am I being unrealistic? Feeling like this playoffs is not like it's been in the past? Am I being unrealistic when I say that?
Back in the past was predictable, man. Don't you need some unpredictability in your life, man? Something that, oh man, I ain't never seen Indiana and Oklahoma City. We ain't never seen that before, bro.
I know, I get it. And then
you know
it has nothing to do. And both of them need to win a championship. I get.
I'm gonna tell you how deep it is for me. My man, for Oklahoma City, he from Canada.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You look at the last 5 NBA championships. Who won them joints, man? Who was the ones? You know, the main characters who won them joints. You know what I'm saying? You had Joker, you had not in B, but my man from Milwaukee. Him, Giannis. Who else won the joint? I'm saying players and their teams that's not from this country is the ones that's dominating the situation. So for me, this NBA playoffs, man, I want Indiana to win the joints, man. Because my man, he from Canada. I don't want him to, he already won MVP. I meant to say MVPs. How many out of the last 5 MVPs, who won them joints, man? All foreigners, people who ain't from here.
But they putting the work in too.
I'm not taking that from him, man. But in terms of me and who I'm rooting for, Halliburton, man.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? And for me, he cuts. You know what I'm saying? I'm putting that.
And so I imagine this Halliburton person is a quality young man.
Brother doing his thing.
Yeah.
Now I look like a fool if he ain't from America. You know what I'm saying?
What it is.
But
all right, well look. Any last words, man? We getting ready to get off this joint. Do us a favor. Before I take it to you guys, I'm gonna give you time to let it marinate and give us some profound shit to say. Go to our YouTube channel, like, share, and subscribe for us, please. Build our numbers up, right? Because you know what? We're right to almost to the crest of that downward sweep where shit start moving fast and start building up for us. I want you guys to be on that ride with us, because we're gonna remember you. We're gonna definitely remember you. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe with us, please, on the YouTube channel. We're here every Friday at 7:30. You know, we it's the three of us on occasion, but we try to have a guest each and every time. You know what I mean? Because we like, and me especially, I like other people's views. Even if they're recurring guests, I want to hear what other people have to say, because I know the three of us are profound human beings. But it is also promoting conversation amongst ourselves. Under my name, you'll see a Cash App that's supporting our YouTube channel. In the future, I'm not asking you, I'm not demanding. In the future, if you feel like you need to hit us off something to keep the channel going, we'll appreciate it. We definitely do. But please like, share, and subscribe. Guys and young ladies, I'm on Facebook. If you want to come on, message me. If you have my number, hit me up. We're going to go from there. I want to thank Daphne Rice. The author. I want to thank Abdul Malik Jihad, aka Mark. This is my wife's cousin. Real solid, good brother. Thank you for checking in on us, man. We appreciate you. But please go like, share, and subscribe. Damon, any last words?
Yeah, stop and smell the roses, people. Whenever you can. Find, you know what I'm saying, find your peace and your happiness and recognize and enjoy it.
Quart.
Wow. Young folks, boys and girls, even though you might be too young to have children, you're parents. You are parents because you are raising yourself. If you make decisions and give yourself advice that you would give your children in the future, you will be okay. We're going to get past this because that motherfucker not going to be in there long. Thank you for your time. I look forward to the next.
We appreciate you, folks. We're on that sweet spot. We're on our way. Take the train with us. Take this ride with us. This is a hell of a ride, and I enjoy this immensely, and I feel like my brothers do too. This is Strong Perspective Podcast. See you next week. Peace.